Hey everyone, Mike here today with some thoughts here on Grid Legends. This is a Codemasters game. It follows up Grid Autosport, which, like that game, was kind of a more casual arcade game than an actual sim. However, it does draw a lot of influences from actual simulators. So obviously Codemasters has a long history of racing games. For this one, they decided to put in a proper story mode on top of career events. As you can see, I haven't done too many just yet. We'll hop into one. And then there's some different multiplayer things as well. So I'll load up one of the story missions here. So some of them have actual FMV video to kind of introduce either a person of your team or a particular event or whatever. And then a bunch of the other races will be pretty straightforward. There's really not a whole lot going on here. Also, the events themselves tend to be pretty easy, though you can see a couple of the you have to finish a little bit higher. But anyways, it's just, yeah, it's a series of events. I didn't get gold in this one, so let's go ahead and replay it. And yeah, I got this game for free when they had the Amazon Prime Day / Twitch Prime Day. Have Amazon Prime, you get a Twitch Prime subscription as well. Otherwise, if you have Game Pass, you get an EA Play subscription, and since EA owns Codemasters, this is part of the 10-hour demo. Anyways, yeah, you get the FMV stuff here and there. Not every mission has them. That's why I didn't want to do the latest race, because it didn't have any, but you get an idea. So I went ahead and skipped that. And let's get right into it. But like I said, it's not really a sim, not really super arcadey. It's kind of in the middle, though it is pretty accessible. There's a lot of different settings to help you out. So I am playing on kind of the more simulator-like settings at the moment. The only thing is using automatic transmissions, because I don't really care to manually sit there and shift the gears myself. I do have the racing line because this game has a pretty large variety of tracks and layouts, and so since there's a mix of real circuits and a lot of made-up ones, it's really difficult to actually learn these in a reasonable period of time. So anyways, having the braking markers is one way to kind of help me out with that. That was a little dirty on my part. But anyways, this is an elimination race, so all we have to do is not be in last place when the timer runs out. I do appreciate that this track is in here. Anyone who's played, especially Gran Turismo 2, I don't remember if this was in the later games. Think about it. But this is very much that track. That's pretty fun. But yeah, like I said, this game is very much designed to be accessible to a lot of people. It's not very difficult. You're not going to lose the rear end on most cars. Actually kind of hard to do that. There's a rewind system, which depending on what kind of difficulty settings, set it to unlimited or just a limited amount. But the rewind system actually goes really far back too, surprisingly far back. So yeah, you can take advantage of that if you're not doing super hot. So in terms of difficulty, I'm pretty much one difficulty off of the most difficult. I didn't put it on the hardest just because this game and Grid Autosport, the previous one that I played, they're not too difficult, but they can get really tricky at the higher difficulties to the point, the highest difficulty, to the point where it almost feels unfair. It's not fun, I'll put it that way. And you could say, well, okay, you're clearly not good enough at the game, which it could be that too. But at the same time, if I wanted, yeah, if I really wanted that kind of challenge, I'd be playing an actual sim anyways. So, yeah, make of that what you will. But anyway, yeah, gameplay-wise, I'm not sure about this one. I like Grid Autosport a lot because it had some neat tracks, and you know, it felt really satisfying to play that game in a lot of ways. This one, a bit less satisfying. Not that it isn't, it's just there's not as many moments, I feel like, where it really feels like, oh yeah, this is a really good racing game, and so on. That was pretty good though. Pretty happy about that move. But yeah, otherwise, look, like I said, I got it for free. This game did come out end of February this year, so it's about 5 months old, or 6, I guess, by the time you watch this. But yeah, it's available on Steam. You know, if you don't want to go out and buy it, it's still an $80 Canadian or 60 US, I believe, standard price of games now. But it is still an expensive-ish game, which is normal. It came out not too long ago, but I've seen it come down. Is it 55% off? Yeah, it's been 55% off before already. So, yeah, pretty affordable if you're into it. Otherwise, like I said, if you have Game Pass, take advantage of the EA Play subscription. If you have a Pro subscription, then this is included. Otherwise, you get 10 hours trial with the standard one. Which, oh hey, we almost lost. I wasn't paying attention. I'll give you a hint. I did try and do a replay, or an initial recording of this, and this is exactly what happened last time too. Yeah, I'm not winning this one. I can't make up that deficit, unfortunately. Oh, we'll end it there. We'll let it run out. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do just one of the career events and show off a little bit of those bits and pieces. There's a couple little other things outside of the actual story mode that we can look at. But this is the game for the most part. A whole lot going on. We've got a couple different categories. In terms of team, I do have a sponsor. GT cars, night races possible. We can customize. I've unlocked some banners. Set up names and stuff. I didn't set up any of that because there's gotta do race choose. So you do have a car that's kind of included for most categories. You can also buy one that's presumably better, and then as you get further and further in, you start unlocking faster cars. There's also various upgrades that you can unlock for some of these vehicles. They're tied to, you know, certain amounts of driving with them. You earn some sort of in-game credit. You can buy those upgrades. They're just little stat boosts. Not much depth to it. It's not like a Gran Turismo where there's a bunch of parts. Forza as well. Kind of the same way. So anyways, let's just hop right into it. There's a decent amount of downtime, but you could skip most of it. I wish I didn't, to be fair, I didn't actually check or I didn't notice it when I went through the menu. Yeah, we'll do different camera angles real quick. Do any of that before. But anyways, yeah. There is a lot of like little things that you could just skip. It'd be nice if you can just auto skip that in the options. You know, I don't really care. Like I'm playing this because I want to race. But I don't really care that you're showing like an intro cinematic to the track and then you've got the announcer lady person talking about whatever. Like, it's cool that they give you the option to skip all that. It would just be nice if you could just not need to press the buttons to make that happen. This track actually feels like a sport track. Maybe. Yeah, most of the tracks in the game are made up, or they're based on like real world locations, but not necessarily actual locations used as racetracks. There are a couple actual real racetracks in the game, which always feels, it doesn't feel necessarily out of place, but always feels a little weird, considering how the majority of the content so far has always been these kind of made up racetracks. So it's always like, oh yeah, this game has some of these. You know, every time you get thrown into one of those events. Okay, it's not racing super clean so far, but we got whatever's left of this lap, about half of this lap, and then yeah, normally I'd be concentrating a bit more playing a game like this, but as you can see, I'm not necessarily having any problem doing the talking and the playing. Got 2.5 seconds. See how much. Already down to 1.5. Get up second there. Yeah, you get different points too for stuff. I guess those are. Yeah, I think those are the same as the actual like currency game. Whether you're racing clean or dirty, you're getting points either way. So I don't know. it feels like hey, let's take advantage of that rewind feature, because I won't use it otherwise. But yeah, it feels like they're just, I don't know, handing out points for racing regardless of what you're doing, whether it's good or bad. Audio wise, oh, this game wants to play music a lot of the time. I have the music disabled because it does get annoying after a while. Again, this is more of a casual player game, so I get playing music totally makes sense. A lot of games play music anyways. A lot of racing games have music playing all the time. It's just in this particular instance, it's nothing I recognize I find particularly good. Get on your nerves that way. There's a little weird sound effects here and there as well I find a little odd, that don't sound very car-like occasionally, so that's also kind of a minor complaint. Some weird like a reverb or something that kicks in here and there. Not sure what that's all about. But beyond that, yeah, occasionally some of the sound effects. I think the elimination mode, the one I remember the most, where it just sounds like they're blowing out whatever sound effect that they're running. It sounds kind of crappy. Again, minor complaints because that just happens occasionally, right? Most of the game it doesn't really. Oh, racecraft points. Alright, so it's not the currency. But the racecraft points are needed to level. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of just small mechanics for doing races and stuff like that, which interesting, but in some ways it doesn't really add much to the game because there's really not a whole lot of stuff. Not too... Anyways, yeah, I can go ahead and buy freaking control. Right, so I could buy upgrades for this Janetta. I bought a bunch of them. So you could kind of get an idea what they do and how much they cost. Spent 2,000 something credits. Acceleration upgrade. We can get a power upgrade, braking, handling. Beyond that, you can also develop stuff on your car and your teammate. Sure. Guess that might come into play later on in the career, maybe. But that's about it. I don't think I have too much else. Yeah, it's a decent game overall. It plays pretty well. Again, this is a pretty decently high-end piece. GTX 1080 Ti, 6-core, 3600, running it at 2K resolution. It's over 60 all the time. It's not a particularly demanding game. And beyond that, in case you're wondering what the difficulty settings look like, stuff. Always using a DualShock. DualShock doesn't have the button prompts show up in this game for some reason. The Xbox one does. So yeah, full damage, it doesn't really do anything. It takes a long time for you to actually get damage. There's a legend difficulty that I'm not using. Racing one. You can also races. Again, if I was playing with higher difficulty, I could absolutely do longer races, and that would help make the harder difficulty feasible, because you just need the extra time. Decided I don't want to do that. I believe that is it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next week with something else.